Grace and peace, family. Welcome back. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me. It's my sincere hope that you are all doing well. If it is your first time visiting, welcome and thank you. And to all the returning family members, to all the returning subscribers, welcome. Thank you so much for your time. I do not take it lightly. I hope that you are continuing to take great care of yourselves because, listen, there is only one you. You are unique. You are amazing and you are needed. So as you move forward in this journey, don't forget to pay attention to what your needs are and honor them. You deserve the very best that you have to offer. It starts with you, and never stop choosing yourself. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about when the narcissist gets to play God. From our experience, we know that narcissists they just love the ability to have power and control over people. We even see this in the Bible when the enemy tries to gain dominion over mankind. And we see it play out in our lives, in the natural as well as the spiritual realm. And so it makes it's no surprise really that the narcissist would try to play God in people's lives. But in this instance, I kind of want to share from some of my experience in hospice and getting to talk to people's family members and, being there in some difficult moments. With narcissists, we know that they play a role. They project an image of who they want you to see them as, and then they give everybody, or they assign characters to everybody else. They change the reality for what it is. But when you are aware of who they are, you're able to read between the lines. There is a time, and I want to share one particular story. There was a time when we had one patient, and this particular client, when he first came in, I kind of felt like he would not be staying there long. And what I mean is that he would recover and go home. I did not expect this person to not make it. And it was really shocking just to see everything happen, because the narc came in, and the narc wife came in, and she began to love bomb him. Mind you, they were separated. She came in and she began to love bomb him. And he was like putty in her hands. He was still so attached to her. And this is why it's so important. I want you to take the nuggets, take the lessons from this, that when you get out, please stay no contact. Do what you have to do to sever those soul ties, to break the chains of those trauma bonds so that you do not return. Please hear what I have to say, and just grab what you need from this message so that you can move forward in freedom and in peace. She came, she love bombed him, and he was putty in her hands, and the children were like, no, Dad, this isn't where it's at, because they knew who she was. We had the whole conversation, the kids and I, and these are adult children in their 40s. He's in his 70s, 80s. But she came in, they were still legally married, and he was just happy to have his wife back. And you've got to also understand from his perspective and the generation that he came from, is that you stay married till death do us part. And all he ever wanted was the love of his wife. And when she came back, she played the role to a T. The caring, the doting wife, affectionate, always there whenever the doctors, needed something, or, when they were there in the room, she was feeding him. She was there to bathe him. But she was mean to everybody else. You don't just go from sweet, kind, caring to a vicious beast in the blink of an eye. It doesn't happen like that. You don't just shapeshift if you are a good, genuine person. And these are signs. Your character, or a person's character, must be consistent. Does that mean that we don't have fluctuations and we're always just sweet, kind, and caring all the time? No, because situations change, but it doesn't just mean that, from one person to the next, you just change who you are. When, when everything is still constant, there is nothing that has changed. But that's how she was. And, those were red flags. But to her children, she was evil. She did not want them to inherit anything. And she managed to convince this man to allow her to be his power of attorney. And this put her in a position to make calls about his health. And this is something that, I feel like, be careful with this. Be careful who you are allowed to make choices for you. This man came in and he wanted to be able to be resuscitated if he stopped breathing. Next thing I knew, there was a DNR on his orders. And I was just like, when I come in, I'm just there to sit with him and talk to him and be sure that he's okay. But when I talk to his nurses and his caregivers, I'm like, what's going on? And like, well, this is what he says that he wants. And even after speaking to him, he kept on saying that, yeah, I'm fine with this because I'm going home to the Lord. Okay. But, her presence there, her very presence, was the very beginning of his health declining. When I started off talking to you, I told you that I did not think he would stay in hospice for an extended period of time. I thought this man would just be in and out. He would go home with his family and continue to live out his life. But the moment this woman came in, his health began to decline. And she was in such a rush. She was in such a rush to get him put on or get him started on a comfort care pack. The comfort care pack is nothing more than the medication that they give to a person who is in the active process of dying. This is where, you get your morphine and the other drugs that are that make the transition easier and more comfortable for the patient. And I was kind of surprised when she first started asking this because he didn't need it. He had some, health issues, but he did not need that. He had medications to manage the pain, but he was declining. And, it made no sense. It made no sense why this man's health just shifted the way that it did. It made no sense. And the kids were like, this is how it is when she steps on the scene. People's health is affected. People's mindsets are affected. And, she had began to speak death to him. What do I mean? She began to tell him, it's okay to go. You don't have to stay here any longer. I've got this. The kids are at a good age. But this is not what he needed to hear. When I tell you that, listen, get out and stay out. I mean that with everything on the inside of me. Get out and stay out because they never mean you any well. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Choose wisely. She spoke to him and he came into agreement with this. And I don't know what other cards were, what else was in the cards for him. All I know is that the moment this woman came on the scene, and the moment her evil spirit came on the scene, his whole life changed. And it didn't take long for him to actually begin to be in the active dying process. And she made sure because now she was the one in charge of everything. The kids tried to do as much as they could as far as the legal system to fight their mother to have more control over their father's care, but they didn't have enough time. It all happened so fast. They didn't have enough time. And the way that his will and everything else was set up, it changed. She changed everything. And she brainwashed him. She played those mind games with him. And so now she had control of everything. Why am I saying all of this to you? I want to stress to you that For those of you who have parents that are elderly that you care about, or family members, friends, anybody who is in your life that you love, if they're in assisted living, be sure that they're okay. Because sometimes it's not that it's people who are within the family who are bad for them, who are toxic, who are narcissistic and not taking care of them. Sometimes it's their caregivers. Sometimes they have an ulterior motive. Sometimes they are not taking care of them. Sometimes they're just there to collect a paycheck. So stay on top of these things. And it's important that you do stay on top of these things, because one day, if we should be so blessed that we would live a long life, we want to be sure that, you know what, we are also going to be taken care of well. Just be mindful, because this woman truly enjoyed, and you could really see, like, when she was not in this man's presence, or when she would just turn and you see that narcissistic smirk, you see her eyes just change and gloss over. She had blue eyes and they just would become so glassy, and you're just like, oh my gosh, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you're in the presence of evil. But she felt like she had the ultimate power and control, because guess who would give him those comfort medications? They're just little droplets that go under the tongue. And she did. She had full power and control right to the very end. With different facilities and different palliative care places, their procedures are, they're different. So, but she was able to do this. And it's just like, it's mind-blowing that, they are out there and they're actually able to get to this stage of life with somebody else and just do what they want to do. And then it's no surprise that at the end of the day, she was able to clean this man out of everything that he had. The children got nothing. And, thankfully for them, they were well off for themselves, that they were okay. But it's, it's something to see that she was able to, get what she wanted at the end of the day. But listen, sometimes when we're coming out of these relationships, it feels like it's so difficult and it's so painful. But just take, what I've shared with you here. Life gives us challenges. We sometimes face health challenges. And you want to go through with somebody who genuinely cares about you, who will support you, that you don't have to think twice. Are they trying to kill me? Am I safe with them? So be sure that you get out and stay out. And when it's time for you to reconsider, or to start considering relationships, should I say, take your time and trust how you feel. Trust what you see. Because, like I said to you earlier, you are amazing and you're a precious gift to us all. And we want to see you flourish and bloom wherever you are placed and planted. So always honor yourself. And thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Until the next time, take care of yourself and God bless you.